Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. We have the most incredible guest today, Allan Pease, and body language is so important for communication, for sales, for business, and for day-to-day life in building relationships. So I'm really looking forward to a conversation with Allan. We're streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. We're also on the E360 TV network, going out to Apple, Fire, Android, Roku, and many more. We're also on USA Global Radio and Television Network, and we're also on Business Innovators Radio Network and MSP newsglobal.com. Let's bring in our incredible guest, Mr. Allan Pease. Allan, welcome to Brilliance Business TV.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Well, it was our good friend Brian Tracy that recommended I must interview you, and I've looked at all of your work. I must say, Allan, I love the work you're doing, and it's a very, very impressive CV that you've got going for yourself. So let's just start with just a little bit about who you are, what you do, and a little bit about yourself, Allan.
Well, yeah, I'm a typical guy from state housing as a kid. I come from a family that had no money, so that's a pretty good start. And it can only be up from there, Mark, can't it? And as a kid, my father said, you've either got to become a doctor or become a salesman and knock on doors. Either way, you can make some money. So I decided to knock on doors. So as a kid, I was knocking on doors after school, selling pots and pans and selling rubber mats and selling anything I could to make money. And I became pretty good at it. In fact, I was one of the heroes in Australia at door knocking and selling. And part of that was being able to look when I was with somebody face to face and work out by their movement, by the behavior, what their intentions might be, which I thought everybody could do this. Turns out most women are pretty good at it without awareness. Most guys, were a bit vague on it. But you could kind of look at people. I could work out by their behavior, by what's now known as their body language, what they're likely to do, think, or say next. And then I wrote it into a book in 1976 that I just called Body Language at a time when nobody had ever heard of such a thing before. And that became a worldwide #1 bestseller. It's still, like 50 years later, it's still at least #1 in 2 countries. I mean, it seems to be no end to it. And that's how it started, writing about body language, negotiation, communication, face-to-face over the counter, using television stations to record TV shows to be able to make training videos, because that's back in the days when nobody had budgets for doing anything. So that's where it started. And since that date, Barbara, my significant other, my wife, and I have written 18 top 10 bestsellers, and our whole communications business is about that. It's about people behavior. We're junkies on why we do things. And it's now 55 years that we've been doing this.
Congratulations, Allan. We have something in common, actually, Allan. I used to be a hairdresser, and I seen an ad in a newspaper for a sales job, and I was quite entrepreneurship at the time. I left my hairdressing job to go into this sales job, and it turned out it was knocking on doors, selling, I think it was gas at the time. Do you want to know how long I lasted at it?
Go on.
One day. I had to phone the job I left and say, I want to come back. There's no way I can do this. It was tipping it down of rain, and it was hard. I found that really, really hard. I'm quite good at selling as well, and I wasn't at the time, but I lasted one day. So the fact that you was a success at that's a success in itself, I must say. Now, you did touch on, you've got lots of books, including 18 bestsellers, and I know they've sold millions and millions of copies worldwide. So we haven't got time to talk about 18 books today, but if you had one favourite, tell us a little bit about it and who should grab a copy of it.
Yeah, that's a hard question. I guess I've had to really think about it. And my big baby was Body Language that I wrote way back when, which has been updated quite a few times. That's like a stock standard. That's in every language in every country. It's in every course. Every university's got it in there. Why Men Don't Listen, Women Can't Read Maps. Interestingly, it was our biggest seller. We sold 15 million copies of that. The differences between male and female brains and how they think and how they behave, which now, of course, is politically incorrect because you're supposed to go around pretending we all think the same way, want the same things, and can't work out why our relationships are in a disaster. But I suppose if I had to pick one out of the top three, it would be The Answer, which is our latest book on the part of the brain back here that decides how successful you'll be or not, and how to program it to get what you want. And it's a simple technique, not easy, but it's a simple technique on deciding what it is you want and how to get anything you want without going through all the pain and the agony that so many of us go through when trying to achieve our big goals. So that would be the one, would be The Answer, would be my favorite pick right now.
I would encourage everyone to get a copy of that. I'm sure it's on Amazon, isn't it, Alan?
It's everywhere. Yeah.
Talking of mind programming, I'm very into mind programming. I do a little bit of similar to what Brian teaches with goal setting, writing out your goals. I've used hypnosis. I more do self-hypnosis now, where I do my own self-hypnosis. So I'm putting my own programming in. I've used subliminals and things like that. So I'm wondering, what's your technique for programming, Alan?
What's interesting with hypnosis, I was a stage hypnotist back in the 70s, back in the days when a stage hypnotist was a mysterious guy. They had this strange goatee beard that I've now got, so I don't have to shave it. And the interesting thing about hypnosis is you've got your conscious mind and you've got your subconscious mind. So all hypnosis is removing or suspending the conscious mind that makes decisions to say, okay, no, Mark, you shouldn't do that, or you're no good at that, or you shouldn't do that. So by suspending the conscious mind allows you to tap directly into your subconscious and put in the goals, which is the basis of how just about all motivation and all goal setting works. Now, the interesting thing that was discovered around 50 years ago, and at the top of the brainstem, right at the back here, in fact, if you put your finger on here and just move it straight to the back, you've got your finger on this little thing about the size of a walnut. It's called the reticular formation. And it's just a bundle of nerves, in effect. But it's the distribution center for the brain. So everything that you see, hear, taste, everything except smell goes through that and gets distributed to the brain. And it's a piece of hardware, and like all hardware, it's got a bit of software that runs it, and the software is called the reticular activating system. One of these bizarre names that some guy made up and probably got an award for. We call it the RAS for short, the RAS, reticular activating system. Now, the reticular activating system is a system that runs that bit of hardware. So in really simple terms, all you've got to do is first decide, and this is where most people get it wrong, they don't get this, decide what it is you want to do, have, or become. Now, most of us don't do that. In Western European societies, we're a how-to society. Or how would I become a great entrepreneur? How could I become a great speaker? How could I have a multi-million-dollar? How would I become, whatever? We're a how society. So we start thinking about how, and we don't know how. So within about 48 hours, we get disillusioned with the whole thing, and it starts to fade away. So the number one point, starting with success, and if the people watching this, you guys watching this, get this point and nothing else, I guarantee your life will change. Decide what it is you want to have, do, or become. Do not think about how you're going to do it. The minute you say, yeah, but how, then you're screwed. It's over. It's finished. Just give it a big minute. Decide what. I want to become, have, or be this, whatever it is. Now, this is scary to do, Mark, because you don't know how to do it. That's why it's exciting. If you knew how to do it, you would have already done it, right? Or you'd be doing it. So deciding the what is the most critical. But it does become scary because you think, well, I've decided that what I'm going to do, I'm going to have my own big business. I'm going to be chief executive. I'm going to be the chief guru in India for ashrams. Who knows what it is you want? It's whatever's available to you. When you decide the what, here's what happens. Reticular activating system, like a Google search map, it searches the environment, and it shows you the answers. So the minute you decide the what you will have, do, or become, the how begins to appear. And this is the secret. But most of us as Westerns, Europeans, we start with the how. Well, how will I get $1 million to run this business? How will I? And away we go with the how, and nothing happens. So start with the what, and the how appears. That means you've got to have faith in this. And the good thing about it, science now shows you that faith is science-based. based on the hypothalamus, based on the reticular activating system back there. It gets you what you want.
I have faith. I believe in a higher power, Alan. And also, I agree, not trying to figure out the how and almost starting at the end. So I always think you're already that what you want to be. So it's just about aligning with it, but you start at the end. So I like that, and I agree with your points totally. Now, communication is so important as well. And unfortunately, sometimes in business, people do lack communication skills. Not everyone, but I think communication is definitely underrated. And to get where you want in life, communication is really important, isn't it, Alan?
Well, look, unless you're a hermit living in a cave or living permanently on a computer, if you're no good at doing that, at communication, you're not going to go very far in business, because one thing that is a consistent in all business in the world, in all countries, with all people, is that we want to do business with other people we like first. So if you like someone, you get on with them, you think they're working in your interest, they're not working against you, and you hit it off, you want them to have what they want. You want to do business with them. So number one, being able to suss people out, make them feel comfortable, feel relaxed, is the number one skill. Now, it's happening in a time when we're more now on the internet and on the web than in history. In fact, younger generations, the under 25s, were found having tremendous difficulty, particularly men and boys, in communicating. We found that young men around 25 years of age are great at sending a text to a girl and asking her for a date or making some comment, but face-to-face looking at her, these guys are absolutely flawed. They don't know what to do, what to say, where to go. Whereas their fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers never had an issue with this because they didn't have a mobile phone. They didn't have a computer. They had to front up and open their mouth and do a song and dance. They had to sell. And that's happening at a time now when we need communication more than ever, because it's still about people. If people buy you, Mark, they're going to buy what goes with you. If they don't buy you, there's something about you that they don't like, and often they can't even pinpoint what it is, then they'll look for reasons to say no, even if it's a good idea. And that's why communication, particularly face-to-face, where you're reading body signals, is so critical, yet it's a skill that's now being lost on younger generations, sadly.
I agree totally. And it's about having that belief in yourself as well, so that you can sell yourself. And that's why having communication skills is so important. Your body language is really important. Being able to see cues from other people as well is really important. So I love the work that you're doing. I'm very familiar with it. And I know your work has appeared on 11 TV series of an audience of over 100 million. That's quite an achievement. Alan, tell us a little bit about that.
With the TV series?
Yes, yeah.
Wow, yeah. When I wrote the original manuscript for Body Language, I started that in 1976, so it's almost 50 years ago. And we turned that into a national TV series in the Southern Hemisphere in 1978, which was a huge success because nobody had ever seen anything quite like this. Like some guy standing up talking live and talking humorously about communicating with people and working out what was going on. And so that became a TV series that then spread worldwide, and it went to everywhere, including in communist Russia. We had over 100 million people watching this show for a year. They just could not get enough of it because I'd never seen anything quite like it until 1991 when communism collapsed. And we did series for National Geographic. We did them for History Channel. We did 9 series in the UK. We did Parking Wars, which on how to park cars in space. We did the men and women. That one. Yeah, that was good fun because parking is such a big deal in the UK because there isn't any. And of course, parking is an extension of your body language. You've got bigger territory, and that's why you get road rage incidents where people are getting into your personal space via the car. And so putting it on television was great because we made those TV shows in such a way they could be converted into training programs. And training programs could then be put into training courses everywhere, into university courses. And the latest course we did was with Mind Valley, which is the world's biggest online training program. We did 17 videos for them, and that was spectacular because that gives everybody a reach into doing a course and being able to improve to the extent they wanted, their ability to look at people and suss out is this person with me or against me? Am I coming across well, or am I bombing out? Because unless you've got cues, as you said earlier, unless you're reading cues and know what to do, you don't really know, unless you're female brain, because we know that female brain people, which we'll call women for this exercise, are 2 to 3 times better at doing this than their male counterparts, which is why you should never lie to women to their face, ever. You call them up on a phone.
Send them a text message.
Send a text. Don't go face to face. You're going to bomb out.
Allan, I love all the work you're doing now. I know you offer a lot of things for our audience. So my question to you is, who should connect with you? Who should go to your website? What kind of programs, what kind of courses, what do you offer to people, so that people out there think, oh, I want to check out the copies.International.com?
Yeah, well, our whole business is about human communication. It's about people skills from 2 aspects. One, from a standpoint of looking at people, communicating with people, sussing out, are they with you, are they against you? What should you do next? Should you open your mouth? Should you shut up and back off? And the non-verbal cues particularly tell you that. And secondly, from the standpoint of yourself, when you front up to present yourself, where you want to sell yourself. Now, remember, as we said earlier, people buy you. They're likely to buy what goes with you. If they don't buy you, they don't buy anything that goes with you. And so by fronting up and being able to work out whether they're with you or against you, that is reading body signals, reading non-verbal cues, and modifying your own behavior, getting rid of any signals that you might have, body signals that you've got. And most of us don't know what we've got. We don't. Our body language is based on our family upbringing, our tradition, religions, culture, background, religion, and so on. So we don't really know what we look like. And that's why it's important to have a training course with you and your mates with your home video on your iPhone or on your Android, so you can see what you look like, because most of us don't know what we look like. And body language makes up 60 to 80% of the impact face-to-face. So we teach all the face-to-face skills from the standpoint of presenting yourself so you're coming across well, that people look more likely to buy you and therefore more likely to say yes. And for you, reading how they're coming across, and for setting the goals in your life to get what you want by using the RAS as opposed to using willpower, because willpower is like dieting, isn't it? It just doesn't work at all. And so that's what we do. And we've been doing online courses, and for quite a few years here in Australia, we've got our own venue here. We were running courses here, weekend-long courses to do the same. Or the latest, which we found to be enormously successful, is with Mind Valley. Mind Valley Online University will give you every possible thing at a very, very reasonable investment.
I would encourage everyone to check out Allan and Barbara's work at copies.International.com. That's copies.International.com. copies.International.com. Allan, thank you for so much for giving me your time today. I thoroughly enjoyed having a conversation with you, learning all about your interest in business and all the successes that you've had. And yes, I look forward to more connection with you, and I know we're going to be doing a nice article for you as well. So thank you for giving me your time today. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Mark. Great to be with you, and great to be with everybody. And as I said, decide what you want. Don't think about how. You decide the what, and you watch what happens.
Start with the end in mind. The pleasure's been all ours, Allan. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.